more details on the fire that took place earlier this morning in Winston County. I'm Parker King, and I've got you covered.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. A shakeup today at the Columbus School Board meeting after board members vote not to renew Superintendent Philip Hickman's contract.
After a 3-2 vote, the school board will begin searching for a new leader for next school year. Our Scott Martin joins us live from the district central office with more on the administrator's decision.
Joey and Andrea, Dr. Hickman's contract expires in June of next year. School Board President Jason Spears says that this is not the first time his position has been talked about, and after reviewing where the district is, the board has decided to go in another direction. The future leadership of the Columbus School District is now left in limbo. After learning his contract would not be renewed, Superintendent Dr. Philip Hickman remained upbeat.
I count it all joy. It's part of God's perfect plan, and I believe I serve the students of the district well.
Dr. Hickman has been the leading force behind the district for nearly 4 years. Monday's decision to change leadership isn't setting well with one parent.
Records show that frequent change in leadership stalls children's education. They can't grasp one thing before it's time to move to something else or somebody else's ideas.
In the meeting, leaders discussed the surplus of teachers who decided to leave the district before the end of school. That, on top of low test scores, the school board started to question the direction of their schools.
We're able to review all details as to where the district is and kind of what position we're in, and so of course from there able to use that information to decide, how we were able to continue to move forward as a district to provide the best educational opportunities in the city of Columbus.
Board President Jason Spears says it's more than stopping the turnover of teachers. It's about the district having the best teachers.
So more than keeping teachers, recruit and keep high quality teachers that will be able to help bring not only the grades up but the learning environment in a better setting for Columbus.
We already have a person in place that knows what's happening, that knows what's going on, and that has the materials to fix our problems. So,
though the board is not renewing Dr. Hickman's contract, he is still able to reapply for the position. Parents we spoke with say that they hope that he is going to at least try. Dr. Hickman did not specify whether he would or would not be reapplying. Reporting live in Columbus, Scott Martin, WCBI News.
2 men are indicted on capital murder charges in the shooting death of a Mississippi State student. District Attorney Scott Colomb confirms the indictment of Jalen Barker and Saboris Pippins. A special grand jury was called last week. 21-year-old Joseph Tillman was shot and killed on Maxwell Street in Starkville back in November of last year. Investigators believe Tillman was killed and robbed. Colomb says Barker and Pippins were served with the warrants for their arrest this morning. A court hearing is scheduled for Wednesday.
A woman accused of intimidating a witness turns herself in. Columbus police had been searching for Joanne Smith. Smith was wanted for intimidating a witness in connection with a November 4th incident at Premier Lounge. The nightclub is where an officer-involved shooting occurred that left a 23-year-old man dead. Investigators say the incident involving Smith took place the same night and involved a crime within the circuit court system. Smith was out on bond for the same charge.
A 3-county police pursuit over the weekend is still being sorted out by law enforcement. Louisville Police Chief L.M. Claiborne says an officer pulled over a speeding vehicle Saturday. When the officer returned to his cruiser, the car drove off. Jackson police say the suspect's vehicle was involved in a carjacking over the weekend. The pursuit left Winston County and finally ended near Highway 69 in Columbus in a crash. 2 Columbus police vehicles were damaged. A 15-year-old was arrested at the scene. Jackson police consider the suspect a person of interest in that carjacking investigation.
Tupelo police are investigating a Sunday night armed robbery. 2 men are accused of holding up the Dollar General on South Gloucester. One thief is described as a white man wearing a black long sleeve jacket, khaki pants, a mask, and a red bandana. The other suspect is a black male that wore a blue jacket, khaki pants, and a black mask, rather. If you have any information about this robbery, call Crime Stoppers of Northeast Mississippi. Time now to turn our attention to weather. Meteorologist Amanda Reynolds joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Well, it's a little bit of a dark evening. It's only 6 o'clock, but the sun has been long set, and so it looks pretty dark out there. But right now we're sitting in the mid-50s here in Columbus. We do have that north wind at around 8 miles per hour. That will continue to taper off as you go into the next few hours. We'll drop down into the low 50s and then eventually into the low 40s. And as we go into the overnight hours, we'll be down into the 30s. It'll be another chilly evening, and those clouds will start to increase as we go into the early parts of tomorrow morning. But there are some changes as we get into the later parts of this week. Your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Amanda, thanks. We have an update this evening on a fatal fire in Winston County.
WCBI's Parker King talks with the Winston County Fire Inspector today about the cause of the blaze, and he joins us live in the studio. Parker.
It started out as speculation, but after several hours of examining the scene, the state fire marshal concludes the fire was accidental, caused by either an electric heater or exposed overheated electric cords. It would eventually spread to the propane tanks on the premises, and that's what made the noise to wake neighbors.
A fire broke the Sunday night silence along Robinson Loop in Winston County.
Around 12:15 this morning, Louisville 911 got a call about a house fire in the Nanawoya community. Possibility of an entrapment in that house.
The neighbor who made the call would not go on camera, but did tell us the call reported more than just a fire.
Residents in that area heard a loud boom.
Firemen responded and said it was called that there was some explosions going on.
It was reported several propane tanks were on the property and were the source of the explosions. Once the fire was knocked down, firefighters were able to examine the ruins.
And found remains around 4:15 this morning is when my office got the call.
After they got the fire extinguished and all, we found a 79-year-old white male body inside.
Neighbors tell us the resident had recently purchased an electric heater. In rural communities, these heaters are common.
Sometimes they have heaters on in older mobile homes that they use a propane tanks inside the house that has a little infrared heads on it to keep the house warm. Sometimes they have little plug-up heaters.
These can be fire hazards, and law enforcement advise residents with these heaters to use caution.
We always tell people, make sure you have all your furniture away from those areas. In your old houses, if you got already added central heat and air to it, have those heaters disconnected. That's the safest thing to do.
Family members we spoke to identified the victim of the fire as Charles Duncan of Nanawoya. However, Winston County Coroner Scott Gregory says DNA tests are being done to confirm the identity.
That was Parker in our studio with that story. Funeral arrangements are set for Bruce Police Chief Stan Evans. The longtime chief passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer Friday morning. Evans' funeral will be held this Friday at Jackson Chapel Church, followed by the burial at Zion Springs Cemetery. The repast will be at the museum on the Bruce Square. The service starts at 11 a.m.
A holiday tradition gets underway in North Mississippi.
Find out how you can be a Christmas angel when WCBI News at 6 comes right back.
WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. A program that helps children in need have a merrier Christmas kicks off today. The Salvation Army's Angel Tree went up at Tupelo's Mall at Barnes Crossing. Shoppers can stop by the tree, pick out a paper angel, which is a wish list from a boy or girl. Participants are asked to purchase the gifts on that list and then return them unwrapped to the Angel Tree at the mall's food court, so families in the area can be sure their children have Christmas presents under the tree.
The thought of a child waking up Christmas morning and not having something for Christmas and thinking, what did I do bad? Because Santa doesn't bring stuff to bad boys and girls. And, you know, it's not the children's fault. And it's not the parents' fault. It's just this is a hard time right now.
Angel Tree will be up at the mall at Barnes Crossing through December 9th. Volunteers will then sort the gifts and have them ready for pickup before Christmas.
Students at Tupelo's Early Childhood Education Center get a unique lesson in geography. This week is National Geography Week, and to mark the occasion, the pre-K students studied a giant map of the United States. The young learners got to walk through different states, rivers, mountains, and other features on the map. Educators say the students are learning facts they will use the rest of their lives.
The most important thing that this helps them with is their spatial thinking, and that goes with them all through the 12th grade. They'll be working with that somehow.
And the Geographic Alliance will be visiting area schools all this week as part of Geography Week.
Well, much of the area actually in a dry state, some even in a drought, but we'll be getting some much needed rainfall later this week. I'll tell you when, coming up right after the break.
First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
This morning, meteorologist Alex Puckett went down and visited B.F. Liddell Elementary School. They talked about tornadoes, tornado safety to the 5th grade class there. So we always enjoy going out to these these schools and talking about weather. So if you want us to come visit your school, go ahead and go on to our website, WCBI.com, find the weather school link and fill out the form, and we'll do our best to come out and visit your school. Now, on our sky cams, we saw a beautiful sunset this evening. We didn't see too many of those clouds, Columbus, Tupelo. So it was a pretty nice evening. If you were heading out there, it's still a pretty nice evening. It is a bit cool out there. Most of us sitting down in the low 50s right now, but this is our live look over downtown Tupelo. Columbus at 55 degrees, Starkville, West Point in the low 50s, but Tupelo has been a cool spot throughout the day today, where they're reading in at 50 degrees now. They topped out around 61 degrees, while most of us made it into the mid 60s. But as we go forward to the rest of this evening, we'll drop down into the low 50s over the next half hour or so, and then down into the low 40s by the time we get to midnight. And overnight, we'll be down into the upper 30s, so it'll be a little bit chilly overnight tonight. And as we get into the early parts of tomorrow morning, say 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we will see more of those clouds start to build in, but as soon as the sun rises, they'll start to burn off. So we'll be a mix of clouds and sun by 8 o'clock, and then mostly sunny skies by the time we get to the afternoon. We'll top out in the mid 60s, so pretty close to where we topped out today. But we're not expecting any severe weather over the next several days. But if you want to join us tomorrow at Susan's Hallmark over in Starkville from 1:30 to 5:30, meteorologist Jacob Dickey and I will be over there programming weather radios. You can come out, join us, talk a little bit about weather. We're always all about talking about weather. So over the next several days, we're going to continue to see that high pressure just off to our north, and that will keep us relatively clear, relatively calm. There is going to be a brief little cold front that's going to skirt just off to our north over the next few days by the time we get to Wednesday evening and Thursday, so can't rule out the chance of a brief shower or storm one of those 2 days, but the majority of the rain going to be Friday evening and into the day on Saturday. So as far as right now, it's kind of up in the air as far as what time this rain is going to push through, but once it does move through, we'll see much cooler temperatures, and we could even see a good bit of rain, and we could definitely use the rain. Much of the area, as I mentioned earlier, under an if not a drought, an abnormally dry condition, so we could definitely use the rain. Tupelo almost 4.5 inches of rain below normal. So that rain will be coming as we go into the weekend, but we'll stay dry pretty much until then. We'll slowly warm up to around the low 70s for Thursday and Friday. Rain chances up Friday night and into Saturday, but after that, we'll see much more sunshine and much cooler, more fall-like temperatures.
Two major bridges in North Mississippi are now closed. In Lee County, Supervisor Billy Holland says the Town Creek Bridge on Brewer Road west of Highway 6 will be closed to all through traffic. The bridge will be shut down for 30 days. And in Oktibbeha County, the bridge on Hickory Grove Road north of Blackjack and south of Highway 182 will be closed for about 6 weeks for repairs. Our Quentin Smith will have more on what the closings mean to local drivers coming up on WCBI News at 10. Starkville Academy gears up for its first state title appearance since 2014. We catch up with the Vols down in Jackson next in sports.
WCBI Weather School is brought to you by Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point. WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The Bulldogs will look to move past the heartbreaker this past Saturday against Arkansas coming up this weekend. Dan Mullen says this week will determine how good his team is, especially since this game against the Razorbacks could be seen as a trap game, with it being sandwiched between the showdown against Alabama and the Egg Bowl in 2 weeks.
It's a big deal for what type of team we are. You know, I mean, it's a big challenge for our guys. If we think we're a good football team, we're going to find a way to be better this week than we were last week, and that's what good teams do. We have the opportunity to still have a great season ahead of us and do a lot of really good things. You know, we have 3 losses to teams in the top 7. So we want to finish this season strong and hopefully put ourselves as a top 10, top 15 program in the country. And if we can do that, we're going to have to be much better this week than we were last week. And so that if that focus changes, you know, then we won't have a special year. We won't be considered at the level we want our team to be at.
The Rebels look to stay perfect in November with a senior night matchup against Texas A&M. Ole Miss enjoyed a sound win over Louisiana Lafayette, but still gave up more than 200 yards rushing to the Raging Cajuns as the run defense continues to be leaky. Matt Luke says it comes down to putting the right people in the right position.
Just continue to fight and compete and get better. I think that's what we have to continue to do and try to get guys off the field. And you know, we've been trying to hold people, say no 100-yard rusher. You know, just trying to find a way to compete and get people in long yardage situations. And then I think at that point, I think then we could compete at a high level.
The biggest thing we look at is, hey, let's not give up any explosive runs. I thought we improved on the tackling. I thought we really did, but I thought Saturday we took a step backwards. We didn't tackle as well. But I think our effort is there. I think the guys are doing a great job of being physical. But we just got to make sure now that when we get a ball carrying our grasp, that we come up with a body part and not give up any leaky yardage.
Starkville Academy returns to the state championship, preparing to face a familiar foe in Jackson on Saturday. The Vols have shut out every team in its path to a rematch with Indianola Academy for the MIAS state title. The defending champion Colonels topped the Vols back in September 35-21. And Starkville Academy head coach Chase Nicholson says that loss was the turning point for the season.
When we lost that, we all sat back as coaches, as players, as quarterbacks, as a team, everything. We all sat back and said, we could be better, we should be better, we can do better. And we now challenge each other. We push each other. Your quarterbacks push me to be better. You know, I push them to be better. O-line pushes Coach Stanford to be better. You know, defense pushes Coach Butler, and we turn around and push right back. And we say, we will be better. And so that game made us who we are right now.
Really just nerves. I can't sleep at night. It's something else. I'm really excited.
Just anxious to play right now. It's a lot leading up to this game, a lot of practice, games, and just hope we come out on top.
So Starkville Academy and Indianola Academy play on Saturday. We will be down in Jackson for that game with highlights till then. Also for Saturday, here's your college football lineup. Mississippi State will be right here on WCBI with the early kickoff, 11 a.m. Folks, grab your brunch. Watch the Bulldogs take on Arkansas on Saturday. Also, Ole Miss at home against Texas A&M. That game gets an ESPN slot, 6 p.m. at ESPN2. Senior night for Ole Miss, sending off guys like Marquise Haynes, Breland Speaks, a lot of those guys who came back for one more year to go through the ups and downs with the Rebels. And then Alabama, a tune-up game against Mercer, preparing for the Iron Bowl in 2 weeks. So really not much to say about that one.
They're probably still tired from Saturday.
I would bet they might need that tune-up squad.
Yeah.
Ole Miss A&M game should be good too.
Very good.
All right, we'll be right back.
slowly warm up over the next few days, but some more significant rain chances we get into late Friday evening and into Saturday. We'll have to wait and see if Friday Night Football will go off without a hitch.
That's just not good for these playoff games,
No,
is it?
it isn't. But, kind of to be expected this time of year. And we need the rain.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.